Okay, these are my NFL 2010 Week 7 predictions. First, we go with all the noon games or 1 o'clock Eastern games. Um, Starting with Cincinnati at Atlanta. I'm going to go with Atlanta in this game. Atlanta's been playing pretty well. Cincinnati's been off and on all year. We don't know which Cincinnati team's going to show up for that game. So these two teams seem pretty similar. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the home team in this one and go with Atlanta. Next game is Washington at Chicago. Both these teams very unpredictable. Both well with Chicago, their defense has been playing pretty well this year. Washington has gotten pretty good defensive play as well at times, but at other times they just seem to give it up there at the end. So again, I'm gonna have to go with the home team in this game and go with Chicago. Next is St. Louis at Tampa Bay. Now these two teams have kind of been a bit of a surprise so far this year. Um, I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay. Also, I'm going with the home team in this week. I'm pretty sure that in the first three games, I'm probably got one of them wrong just by going with the home team. But whenever in doubt, go with the home team. Next up, San Francisco at Carolina. Carolina is probably the worst team in the NFL. San Francisco can't seem to beat anybody on the road, but I think if they win one road game this year, this will probably be it. So I'm gonna go with San Francisco in this one. Um, Next up is Buffalo at Baltimore. Buffalo, the other team who has yet to win a game uh, this season, going into Baltimore, it doesn't look like they're going to get their first win there, so I'm going to go with Baltimore in that one. Philadelphia at Tennessee. Now, this is one game that, this is probably the last game I picked on because, uh, these are two very good teams. Tennessee, uh, they don't allow a lot of points. Philadelphia can put up a lot of points. Philadelphia's still got a pretty good defense. I tried not to be biased on this one, but I'm gonna go with Philadelphia over Tennessee, just mostly because I don't like Tennessee. Um, Jacksonville at Kansas City. Uh, this is another game where I had a tough time with Jacksonville. They played great one week, and then they look like they did against Tennessee another week. Kansas City, they've been a real surprise all year. Um, you know, they lost these last 2 weeks to two very good teams, two very good offenses. Could have won both games. So I'm gonna go with Kansas City in this game. I think they'll be able to run the ball on Jacksonville. Pittsburgh at Miami. Miami's been another surprise, along with Kansas City and Carolina and Tampa. But Pittsburgh's, I think their defense is probably the best in the league. So that's going to be tough to overcome. Ben Roethlisberger played pretty well in his week back, so I'll go with Pittsburgh over Miami. Cleveland at New Orleans. Uh, New Orleans has been struggling. They finally showed up last week, but they're playing Cleveland at home, so it shouldn't be much of a problem for the Saints this week. Arizona at Seattle. Um, these two teams are pretty bad. Um, they're both very fortunate to be in the division they're in. They're both very fortunate to be playing the AFC West this year, but this week they're playing each other and somebody's got to win. This is another case where I'm going with the home team, so I'm going with Seattle in this one. New England at San Diego. Uh, I want to take San Diego because they need this game really badly so they don't start out 2-5. Especially with Kansas City winning earlier in the day, since this is a 4:15 start. They'll already know the outcome of that game, and but I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference. I think New England's a better team, and I got New England in that one. Oakland at Denver. I think based on what I've seen so far this year from Denver, they've got a pretty decent defense. So does Oakland. Uh, I think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game. Um, I'm taking Denver in this game. What I've noticed a lot with these AFC West teams is they don't win on the road very often. So I'm going to go with Denver here. Minnesota at Green Bay. Minnesota is another game. Minnesota really needs this game. They don't want to start out uh, 2-4. Green Bay, I mean, they're underachieving a lot, and this is a home game for the Packers. This was another tough one to look at, but I think that Minnesota kind of turned the corner a little bit last week. If they can cut down on the penalties, I think they're gonna go into Green Bay and get the win there. So I'm taking the Vikings. The Giants at Dallas. Now I don't think it's much of a surprise to those of you who know me that there's not a professional sports team on earth that I hate more than the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't think anybody's as happy as I am to see them start out 1-4, playing another really good defense in the Giants. My Texans saw firsthand what the Giants can do. Last week, though, the Giants kind of looked. It was really questionable. They really squeezed out a win against Detroit. So, as much as as painful it is for me to say this, I gotta take Dallas this week, and bye week this week for Detroit, Indianapolis, New York Jets, and Houston. And I'll try to make another weekly prediction show next week. See ya.